Alright. Well, you doing the thing?
Have we had a cold opening?
We've had enough cold opening to fill a fucking mini fridge, my boy.
Wait, you were recording the entire time?
We've been recording for the last 10 minutes.
We
talk about tubed fruit.
Yeah. What's your favourite tubed fruit?
What do you mean?
Actually, what's your favourite fruit, tubed or untubed?
What?
Also, do you agree that all round fruits are better than any other fruit? Even though most fruits are round.
I'm telling you, banana. And it's not round.
So banana's pretty good.
Bananas are good. What are you doing? You're Googling a banana?
I still want to know what other fruits aren't round. There's no definitive list of fruits that aren't round.
Technically no fruit is round. It's like the earth. It's a geonoid.
Look, 5 fruits are not
Geonoid.
round. A star fruit, I guess.
A what?
A geonoid. I think that's how they call it. I mean, that's how they say it. Geonoid. A geonoid.
A geonoid?
A geonoid, basically it means... Yeah, it is like the Pokemon. Basically, it means like it's a circle, but it's like it's got bumps because the Earth isn't flat; it's bumpy.
Oh, you're talking about a geode? A geode?
The earth is flat.
That's why they call him a geodude.
Yeah,
Because he's a geode,
Yeah.
but he's also a dude.
he's not. Yeah, so it's not.
Although there are female ones, so I don't know how that works.
basically,
You can call a woman dude. Alright, let's leave this for the podcast.
Alright.
dude is slang for a camel's foreskin.
It's...
What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 17 of the Entertaining Diversion podcast. We're back. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Beazley. Beazley. Joining me is Mr. Sean.
That's me.
I didn't realize we were doing.
And of course,
I am a dude. Oh, yeah, like we're doing full hosting now.
of course,
You're a host with the most, yeah.
of course, we also have, it's been a while since I've said this, the ever-British, Monsieur Curtis.
I'm not very British, but okay.
You do realise that Monsieur Curtis is not British.
Yeah, I know. The irony. And
I mean,
so
technically, it depends on how you look at it. I won't go into a history lesson today.
after a very long hiatus, the last one came out in December 2017.
We were so destroyed from Christmas. Like, Matthew's been hungover ever since. I haven't seen him in...
You should have
I've
seen the
him
staff
once.
party.
I mean, I'm pretty
Flaked
sure.
out in
It
the
was
corner.
wild.
Pretty sure Matt's
Beazley got drunk as always.
That wasn't... Well, yeah, I suppose that's close enough to being a staff party as well.
I made an appearance for like 2 minutes and then left because you guys were boring.
That's fair.
Oh, fair enough.
I mean, I say you guys were boring. Beazley fell asleep when I got there.
I forgot about that. We're
I'm
classic.
just going to drink my coffee.
Well,
I mean, in fairness to you guys, I did get there like 10:30.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm thinking,
That's
hang on a
right.
minute, I wasn't asleep, and I realised it was so late.
I was there really late. Yeah, had work commitments.
you do remember that Beazley is 90 years old and goes to bed at 6 p.m.
I'm old as fuck.
Well, it's been a long hiatus. How is everyone?
Well, it's been a long hiatus for them. I don't know about
not
us.
for us.
I've been dealing with you since the last podcast. There's been some... there's been changes in everything. We've moved house. That's only recent, though.
We've now got this glorious table.
We do. This is the new and improved
Curtis.
podcast set featuring
Can't you
Curtis.
I mean, we didn't think we could improve perfection, but...
Yeah. Sean, you've got your t-shirt thingamabobs happening.
Yep, I do. I'm wearing a t-shirt right now.
Shameless self-promotion for you.
Yep, it covers all of my nipples that apparently are too pasty and white for anyone to look at.
Fair enough.
I must admit, I have been
Context.
enjoying my Tea and Bass shirt quite a lot.
Okay.
So much so that it's had to be washed several times.
Excellent. I'm glad that you wash your shirts, Curtis. That's a good start.
So that's been a thing. We've still been putting Let's Plays and that out periodically, but the podcast went into hiatus. We felt like we hit a slump.
Now back in black.
Back in black.
None of us are actually wearing... I got black pants, I guess.
It's kind of... I am wearing black pants. I'll knock the table. It'll end up everywhere.
My knee. Oh.
I don't know. What else has happened?
He'll do it regardless.
Yeah. So we're back. Ready? We're back in action.
We've put some Let's Plays out.
We have.
In the
Yes.
last, since the podcast lots.
I have yet to get around to the winner's circle one yet, but I do look forward to it.
Okay, yeah, all right. So the last week we put out I was gonna say two podcasts. Two Let's
find on our channel.
Two Let's Plays.
What? It's true.
At the moment, we don't have internet to be able to do a lot. So we put out 2 old school games.
There, Beaz.
Yeah, I know. I've got to stop looking at the screen. Hi, how you going?
I can't help it. I'm in the
You're
perfect
all-
position. I chose
I
the
just
perfect
thought-
I know, yeah, I was gonna
because
say,
I've been looking at the
I should
screen.
move- I should move the
camera's
feed over
there,
there.
but because of the angle of what I'm sitting at, it looks like I'm looking at the camera.
So we put out a Halo Let's Play. We put out a the Mary Kate and Ashley Winners Circle Let's Play, which was oh boy,
It's a masterpiece. It's a masterpiece.
So yeah, check those out.
I saw the beginning.
Speaking-
Of it. It seems quite great.
Well,
Are you gonna smoothly segue here? Is this what this happening?
I am going to smoothly
Here we go.
segue.
Smooth segue, everyone.
So Mary Kate and Ashley, I feel like is a good. So now I'm going to talk about Mary Kate and Ashley for the next 45 minutes.
Are you gonna just?
I hope
are
you're
you,
ready to know all the lore that
Please
you'll ever
skip
need.
45 minutes in advance now.
are you just gonna talk
No.
about like Winners Circle specifically, or
Hey man, every circle's a
Or New
winner's
York
circle
Minute.
if you go into it. Nope.
no?
I'm gonna stop there. It did. Speaking of so Mary Kate and Ashley obviously is something from my childhood. I don't know if you guys were big
I watched
Mary
it
Kate
every
and
now and then,
Ashley.
but it wasn't really my thing.
Yeah,
I'm more of a
that's fair.
cartoon man rather than a
That's
real-
fair.
you
You like
speak in
those,
my
those
language.
big anime.
You speak in my language.
Oh, you know it. You know it.
By the way, for reference, we do have Matthew and Kyle, and they're playing Mario on the couch over there. So if you do hear an occasional wahoo, you will know where that's from.
Don't say we don't have a good time.
But obviously, yeah. So it's a big part of mine and Matthew's childhood. But I was thinking the other day because I saw something which reminded me of the movie Labyrinth, the old Labyrinth.
Jesus
to do with
Christ.
David Bowie?
Yeah, the old David Bowie
It was a
movie.
good movie.
And it frightened the shit out of me as a child. Like it fucked me up for years.
That's my brother's favorite movie.
It's a great film. Like now watching it these days is great. But I didn't even see the whole movie as a child. Like I walked into a room where I think my parents or something were watching it, and I just saw parts of it, like the parts where the baby was getting taken through the fucking stair maze or whatever it is. And I just remember like it gave me nightmares for like 2 years.
I suppose it's like me with Jurassic Park. Like watching Jurassic Park as a kid, I was like, "This is fucking terrifying. I could never watch it."
And then you watch it
Never
now,
fu-
and it's like
I watch it now, and it's like, "This is hilarious. This is the greatest thing I've ever
Exactly.
seen."
I had the same thing, which is probably a bit more obvious as a kid, with Friday the 13th. My mum was mad on Friday the 13th. And now, like, in like
Clearly
later
offensive.
years, like I watched it, and like the first thing I noticed is, I think in the first movie, he cut someone's throat with the machete, but it's not the sharp side. I'm like, okay, this is just ruined for me now. This is just comical. So yeah, no, and now it's like I'd watch all that shit because it doesn't bother me. But yeah.
Exactly. That's especially with Jurassic Park. I remember I watched, I think it was Jurassic Park 2 or 3, and again I didn't see the whole thing. It just came up on TV one time, and I like saw a section where a T-Rex was chasing like all the army people. I think it was in 2
Yeah,
through the
number
woods,
2,
and
yeah,
I was
through
like,
the woods.
oh my fucking god, this is horrifying. Like I am ruined for life. So the topic that I was going to bring to the table today was like, do you have any like really like things which just traumatized you for life that happened to you as a
Like,
child?
what still traumatized me to this day.
Even if they don't traumatize you still, but things that just as a child fucked you up, like, or just things that happened to you as a child, which would just
Well, I was friends.
How deep can we go here?
I
as
was
deep as you want. This rabbit hole, it goes forever, my man.
I was friends with Kempy and Boss Man. I'm pretty sure that's horror itself.
That is a pretty deep rabbit hole.
I think context for who they are.
No, they've been on the channel before.
I know.
Here, he'll place some pictures of their face on the screen for you.
One here.
I don't know, there might be new people watching. Then again, who
Yeah,
are we
exactly.
kidding? Who are we kidding?
Somebody watching it in general would be a surprise. But yeah, was there anything like that you guys know of that like really fucked you up as a child? Because I've got bundles of stories.
Oh, I see. So this is a topic that you can talk about.
I thought it was. I mean, I'm pretty sure you were all children once. So.
How do you,
Bees,
I
it
don't
might be
know
a
about
fair few
Beazley.
thousand years ago now for bees, but
Hang on, I'm
He's process-
I'm winding back. So
He's
by the
trying
time
to
the
think, he's trying to
podcast,
think back before light had been invented.
it's like yes, it was the year 0000.
the Big Bang was pretty traumatizing.
Buzzing. I hate myself for that.
Not really. I mean, I think my fear of the dark is pretty much the only thing I can think of. That was because my dad used to like we used to have a kitchen in a house. It was like a semi-detached house Well, it wasn't an attached house because it was a whole freaking home. Anyway, I was there, and the kitchen, like, you'd go in there, and it was like away from the rest of that house. Like, it was in a sealed room, and you go in the back, and there was the kitchen. And he thought he was playing which he was. He wasn't meaning any harm. I mean, I'm really trying to defend him here.
I like the fact that we don't have context yet. You're just saying that your dad's given you a fear of the dark, and you're trying to defend him and not make him seem out of the big bag. I'm like, this is taking a dark path, guys. Like, keep moving, man, keep moving.
No, basically what he used to do is he used to throw money into the kitchen and ask me to go get it for him, and then I'd go into the kitchen and it'd be pitch black. And he would then shut the door, slam the door behind me and lock it, and then start making pig noises. And I would curl in a ball in fetal position next to the tumble dryer crying. From that point on, I was terrified of the dark.
Whoa. I know, look, I'm going to ask on behalf of Sean as well, and probably everyone else fucking watching as well. What the fuck is with that?
Also, my first question,
My dad was
before we get into anything else, why the fuck did you have a tumble dryer in your kitchen?
Because it was both
That's
and
the question. That's your question. You want to know what the tumble dryer? I want to know why he's throwing money in the thing and pig noises. And you're like, oh my god, there's a tumble dryer in the kitchen.
I was 2 years old, by the way, so yeah.
Okay. There are a lot of questions.
I was going to say,
I like how you're like, there's nothing really, except for this really traumatizing thing my dad did, where he fucked me up for life.
I must say, it certainly explains Curtis. Just it explains a lot. No, that's what we should do. That's how end.
So what was it? Like, what
Maddie,
was it?
Get all your change.
My dad,
turn the lights off.
My dad is like the rest of my.
You're going to PTSD.
Like the rest of my family, we like to fuck around and like just pick on each other basically. And my dad thought we were just joking, but he didn't understand the long-term effect that would have on me later down the track. Because I never trusted any dark place. Anyone goes, "I'll go over there." I'm like, no, I don't want to go in there.
Can I?
If it's dark, I don't want to go in there.
What do you feel about Babe, Pig in the City? Does that have any sort of...
Charlotte's
what if
Web.
I start throwing money at you while you're watching Babe?
As an adult male now, it's kind of like the dark is no longer a terrifying thing. I still have the trauma there in terms of like I'm still nervous about the dark, but I can go through dark places without really any...
Hang on, let me write this down for future reference.
Like if you put me in a dark space and tell me to walk through it, I can do it, but like I still have those like
as long
kind
as
of
it's not a pig
like
pen.
those, I kind of have that increased heart rate and like there's that fear that's in my head, but I ignore it.
Yeah, okay, I get that.
So Old MacDonald's farm must have been a horrible nursery rhyme for you. Especially if it was recited in the dark.
My dad adds the creepiness. Anything in the dark, like I think this is actually a very strong comment, like on this. If you do anything which would be normal in the light, in the dark, it becomes scary.
Except Kyle.
No,
I feel that Kyle's much more improved when I don't have to look at him.
True.
Is that fair? Is that a fair comment?
I'm pretty sure if you turn the lights off, threw Curtis in a room and started singing Old MacDonald Had a Farm, I think it'd fuck him up. Is that a fair statement?
Oh, we so have to do that at some stage.
Our Let's Play of Old MacDonald Had a Farm.
The difference is I'm not 2 years old anymore. I can actually reach the doorknob.
Yeah, and I'm not going to run in there for some petty coin. You'd have to throw at least a $5 note in there.
Note to self, take the doorknob off. Nah. Okay. Yeah. I can't beat that. There's no...
I have more, but like I feel like I can't share those with you.
Again, we're not going to look back to this. Well, one of the things which I thought of, like, is that, like, again, I got several. One of the things I thought of was when we were, like, me and my sister were, like, super young. So I would have been, like, 5. She would have been about 6 or 7. And we were staying at my grandparents' house. My grandparents, they're a little... They're farmers, so they're like, you know, they're kind of like off the grid kind of people, like, you know, like, you know, so about an hour or two like from the city or whatever.
Yeah.
So we're staying at their house, and like it was me and her shared a room because like obviously we're children at the point. And then like all we heard was like some frying in the kitchen, and we woke up at the same time. We could smell. And we're like, oh, is that pancakes? we can smell pancakes. This is so fucking good. Like, we're so excited. Because, like, Grandma's pretty nice. And, like, she used to look after us when we were there. And, like, you know, she used to make us food and stuff like that. So we got super excited. And we, like, ran out. Like, my sister fucking bolted out there. And don't think I've ever seen her move as fast since. She, like, sprinted out there to the smell of pancakes. She goes, oh, pancakes. And then Grandpa's sitting there. And he's like, a big beard. Like, he's a really tall guy. And he doesn't really show that much emotion. He's just, like, a pretty, like, stone cold kind of guy. You wouldn't get it because everyone else in my family doesn't. But the thing is, like, and he was sitting there and he was just like frying, and he turns around and he looks at my sister dead in the eyes and says, she's like, oh, pancakes. And he's like, no. And he leans the pan down, lamb's brains. Do you want some? And she was so fucked up. Like, I don't think I've ever seen her so scared. And we both just ran back to the bedroom. We're like, we're not eating for a month. This sucks.
Does lamb brains smell sweet?
I don't know what it was. As children, I don't know if
I would assume so. Like, I would assume they'd smell sweet.
maybe they were like cooking it in like a really heavy butter. Like we could smell the butter. Like,
1 ton butter.
yeah, I cook my
I
fucking
can
lamb brains with a ton of butter.
I can imagine brains smelling sweet. Most generally organs do. Like
I was going to say, yeah, no, all those kind of. That's what. Oh no, they are because that's why they call them sweetbreads. Yeah, yeah.
All I can think of is the Hannibal thing. I had his liver.
With a nice Chianti.
With a nice...
For some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
It's now turning into an ASMR of us doing the Hannibal like that. But yeah, so that was one of the things.
What are the lambs doing, Clarice?
Oh god.
But yeah,
Clarice, is that her name, Clarice?
Yeah, Clarice Starling. That sorry to detour. I'm going to. That is a fucking amazing movie.
That's a very amazing movie.
I love Silence of the Lambs.
Anthony Hopkins is just great.
Yeah, I agree. Anthony
he's a good
Hopkins
man.
is like one of those people who've stayed consistently. Like, I don't know, he was like obviously famous back in those days, and then he kind of had that little break in like the early 2000s era, and then was it early 2000s? When did Silence of the Lambs come out? That was like 90s.
Oh, he was 90s.
Yeah. So he was like had a kind of that break, and now he's just like one of those cool old actors like Ian McKellen and fucking Patrick Stewart and stuff. Like he's hit that
He's
peak.
just chill. He's just chill.
He's man, Anthony Hopkins is great. If you haven't watched Westworld, honestly, give it a crack.
Anyway, moving on. Lower the trauma back. Are we still on the trauma thing? Or are we
Trauma.
Oh yeah, honestly, if anyone's got
So that's your sister. So
that
would
fucked
you
me
say
up as well. It was more so my sister. Like she remembers it to this day. Like
I can't think of anything scary trauma. The only trauma I can think of, which I think I've told this story on the podcast a long time ago, and that's me getting knocked out with a gas cage. The trauma of them putting okay.
Was that traumatic though? Was that something like now every time you look at gas?
Oh no, that was
no.
like
It's what it's their mindset of how to wake me up was what the trauma was. So basically, this is a boss man story. Boss man and Campy are just the two most brutal friends I know. So you know how you get those cages that go around like gas cylinders to lock them up so that
Yeah.
it's like a metal cage. So we were mucking around at the primary school. So I pushed Boss Man into the thing and pushed the door shut, and he was stuck in there. Well, he freaked out because I think he's a bit claustrophobic. But anyway, I didn't care.
Did you lock it in the dark and then make some pig noises?
Oh, absolutely. While serenading him with Old MacDonald's farm. But no, anyway, so I put him in there, and he got that freaked out that his answer was to kick the cage door, which I didn't realise he was going to do, and it smacked me square in the middle of the head. I was out like a light. Like, I just hit the ground. So I was genuinely out cold. The only reason I know what sort of went on was because I was told afterwards. So one of them that was there...
that's a rookie mistake. They shouldn't have said anything. They should have just knocked you out and then just never spoken.
So just played with his body and then just left him.
Well, the answer to revive me was apparently there was to pick up the nearest piece of dirty, grotty Glad wrap they could find and shove that in my mouth.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Why?
But you asked them. I don't know. And
what logic is that?
I have no idea. What? So, well, because I'm not...
like choke on the Glad wrap instead.
I'm not choking. Well, it's done exactly what Matt's just said. I'm no longer choking on my tongue. I'm dying because I've asphyxiated on fucking Glad wrap, but all right. So,
thinking about having Glad wrap. Oh, God,
that is the mindset. It's like, No. Like I
that's
don't
making
like
me, that's making me
stuff
gag.
over my face. Like I just don't.
That's fair.
But yeah,
that's
that was their
making me
answer.
gag just thinking
That was
about
their
it.
idea to revive me. Well, it wasn't. All right, it wasn't Busman Kemp. It was another person that was there. But they didn't exactly discourage it. So like, yeah, no. But trauma, like what you're talking, no.
I mean, technically, that is a trauma, like, because it's making you. If it makes you like.
Oh, it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, if you regale every time someone puts something anywhere near your face or your mouth, you're like.
No, I just don't like. Yeah. No.
I say it's like me in the dark, like it's that unconscious or subconscious, not unconscious, subconscious like emotion that rises up out of you.
It's a wonder I'm a chef because I use a lot of Glad Wrap in my life.
Yeah, but you're not putting it.
You're not putting it. And he starts to like shake and sweat.
Every day
takes me all day to cover the food.
Every day, like for Beazley, is a battle. It's work.
And it's not because of the Glad Wrap. No. Such a happy thought. Yeah, no. So,
but yeah,
trauma.
A lot of my trauma, I don't know, it just stems from farms in general because we lived on a farm for a while.
I'm just getting the feeling that
I'm not traumatized by
farmers and things are bad. Just no farmers. We don't just.
I don't think they're
Sorry
bad.
to
I
any
just think they're
farmers who
different.
may be watching
from, like,
or listening.
Sorry to the farmers that are watching. Sorry to Babe if he's what. No, that'd be dead.
he's dead.
Is Babe a he?
Babe is a he in the films, but is a she in real life. So
And Babe. Oh, look! All I can think of is when they talk about Babe is him going la la la.
No, Babe is. I'm pretty sure it's a boy, but it was played by a girl pig. Because boy pigs are just fucking unruly pieces of shit.
I don't need a whole thing. I just want to.
Whereas like girl pigs are like a lot more chill.
If you'd said to me when we were recording the podcast that we'd be talking about Babe, Pig in the City.
Babe's a girl.
Babe's a girl. It is a girl.
Babe's a girl. Apparently, it's never specifically mentioned in the film.
I suppose like. Is babe a term used for a female pig? Is that why they call it babe?
I think it was just all the pigs in the female were
No,
women,
a
so they just assumed
female
it was.
pig is a sow.
A sow, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a male pig.
A boar.
A boar, that's right. Yeah, fucking hell. Of course it is.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I don't know. We're just.
I was about to say maybe
talking
it's-
about-
we
maybe-
derailed.
maybe-
I was just like, I'll find out this Babe fact.
maybe-
You guys
I
talk.
said maybe because I do remember looking up one time, and I'm pretty sure it was either or. So maybe it's a girl, but like played by a boy pig. Because I know there is like
like the actual
pig
itself.
because they got a different pig for the second movie because the first movie came out and the pig had grown up by that point. So they had to get a
You're
new
telling me it's not the same pig?
pig. Not the same pig.
Oh, it's ruined my.
So Babe and Babe in the City are two different pigs.
See, that's just corporate lies.
I don't think there's no actual reliable link which is saying what,
Okay,
what
maybe
gender
maybe
the
it's not
pig
maybe
that
it's
played
not
it
maybe
was.
it's not a reliable source I looked at then.
Was it Wikipedia?
I do know that it wasn't the same. It wasn't the same pig.
You're breaking my childhood.
You're
A lot
nitpicking.
of shows with like animals in it generally like, unless they stay that size for all their life, it's not.
away from
They're
me.
not generally the same. Like especially like all those puppy shows. Like everyone's like, what the buddy shows are they called? The buddy.
Yeah, bud.
Yeah, but all those puppy like. Every movie is made like a year after
Are you
each other.
telling me that
They're not-
they did not get the exact same
No.
101 Dalmatians back?
No!
Fucking liars, alright?
Well,
When they
it's
brought
gonna
102
be-
back.
They're all different.
They need
It's like,
at least 100.
was it was it the same Cruella de Vil? Did they replace her? Did they start replacing everybody? It's upsetting me.
Animals grow very quickly.
What was it? I think it was.
Who played Cruella de Vil in the movies?
What's her face? Fuck it, I can't believe I'm forgetting her. She's the same woman who plays.
It's Glenn Close.
Glenn Close, yeah.
Yeah.
Where is it?
Glenn
Yeah, she's
Close.
the one that plays the head of whatever the thing is in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Nova Corps.
Yeah. Man, what a throwback. There's this great picture of her. I want you to put this on the podcast. I'll show it later.
It's here. Hang on, it's here.
The place is just over.
It's
there.
there. Over there,
I need to
everywhere.
take notes. I'm going to have so many things to put up on the screen.
That's alright. You'll figure it out.
Maybe.
Where were we?
No.
Oh yeah, the farmers. So yeah, the other big thing which like fucked me up as a kid was sheep. So
That's bad.
oh,
Baby.
Sorry.
So yeah, when I was a kid, so we lived on a farm for a while, and what happened is we went out to feed the chickens, which at the time, because I was small and our chickens were pretty wild, I was like, I don't want to go in the cage with the chickens, because I was like, I don't want to, they're fucked up, man. Like chickens, they just jump around, like they don't attack you, but like as a child,
I'm familiar with chickens.
You're like that big. I thought
you were talking about the chicken. I'm thinking,
and
fuck, that's a big chicken.
Like in comparison, like when you're smaller, a chicken is a pretty big creature. You know what I mean? Like nowadays, you look at a chicken, you're like, oh yeah, it's a basketball. But then
nowadays, when I look at a chicken, it's usually covered in some sort of coating. And
I ate chickens as a kid. So
anyway, so I was like, I don't want to go in there with the fucking chickens. I'll just hang outside. And then my dad and my sister were just like, okay, cool, we'll go in, sort the chickens out. You can just hang out here by the shed. And then this is just in an open paddock with a bunch of sheep and stuff in there. So the sheep, I don't know, it was a ram actually. Well, I walked up and what it did is it just started like slightly nudging me with its head a little bit. And I was like,
rams are nasty.
And I was like, what the fuck's going on? Like, as a kid, I was like, I don't know what's happening. And then I kind of get spooked a little bit and step back, and then it pushes me a little bit harder. And at this point, so I'm here, the ram's here, and then the wall of the shed is here. Right? So then it pushes me up again, and I don't go quite up against the wall of the shed. So I'm like, oh, okay, what the fuck? But it pushed me really hard. And then I was like, as a child, my instinct for some fucking dumb reason was, this thing is starting to push me around. I've got to assert dominance. I'm going to punch it in the head.
Oh my God.
So,
that's totally going to go.
Young Sean is a fucking idiot, and he starts getting rammed, so he's just like, alright, I'm fighting back, and I punched it just square in the head. Obviously, you don't punch a ram in the head. No, but it's one of those things that you just don't teach your kid, apparently, which obviously it should be a given. So I punched this ram in the head, and then obviously it starts hitting back, and then instead of learning my lesson and being like, oh wow, I hit it, and then it's reacted really badly, I'm just like, alright, I'm gonna keep punching it until it gives up. Now,
my God,
at this point, the ram is pushing me up against the shed, just ramming continuously into me, while I'm slowly starting to punch it more and more.
Well, I can see your logic though as a child. As an adult, you look back and go, oh shit, that's fucked. But as a kid, you were probably scared at the fact that this creature was hitting you, and you were already nervous because of the chickens.
Yeah.
Your instinct is just, it's hitting me, hit it back because you want it to get away from you. So you punch it. I can understand completely where you're at.
As a child, it seemed like the perfect. It was a
logical thing. You think, hit it and it will leave me alone.
But yeah, so then it gets to a point where I'm just standing there against my fucking shed, just getting rammed repeatedly. Dad and Rhiannon, I'm pretty sure, were just laughing at me from inside the chicken coop. They're like, oh hey, what's happening out there? Oh, Sean's getting beat up by one of the rams. How classic. He'll be able to defend himself. Oh look, he's punching it in the head. Now he's crying. Oh, he's run away. We should probably go help him.
Now he's bleeding. Oh no, there goes one
now
of his
arms. Now the ram is drinking his blood and using his corpse.
Now there's some sort of sacrifice going on to some sort of demon god.
But yeah, so if there's anything to take from that, don't punch a ram in the head.
Thank you. I'll be sure to, next time I visit a farm, look out for darkness, chickens, and
that's what we need to do. If Beazley ever just wants to frighten us, what we'll do is lock us in a dark room, and he'll put some chickens, some chickens, some pigs. He'll just put the whole farm in there, and then just.
I got a friend who's got a traveling farm petting zoo thing. I'll just hire her and put you in a room with them.
Excellent.
I didn't really grow up on a farm. I was in the countryside when I had animals, so it's less farming and more domestic farming. I don't know what it's called.
Domestic farm.
Is it still a farm if it's a domestic farm?
No, he had an orchard, and that's where they lived. They lived in the orchard in their chicken coop.
Okay.
And was all your fruit round?
Yes. We had apple trees, peach trees, and we actually got a banana tree as well.
Did you tube your fruit?
It's not around fruit.
No, it's not around fruit, but believe it or not, the banana tree died because, apparently they can't grow in, the UK temperaments. Who knew?
Funny that.
Who'd have thought?
It's like us growing banana trees.
I mean, we did have a greenhouse, though, so I think that's what my dad was trying to do.
Mm-hmm. How many other houses did you have? And what colour were those?
I have a blue house with that.
But yeah, that's just a couple of little nitbits from the past, which,
Trip down memory lane. It's been good.
Yeah. But no, that did fuck me up for years. I was very.
Does Glad Wrap have a choking hazard thing on the outside of the packet?
100%.
Yes,
I don't think Glad Wrap has a choking hazard thing on a little piece which was found in the ground. I'm just going to say that out there.
Why not? I want a sticker on every bit of Glad wrap.
I don't think Boss Man or Kempy or whoever it was that put the Glad wrap down your throat saw it on the ground and was like, oh, there's like a clean box and it says, oh, don't stick this in people's mouths. Well, there's a different circumstance. This person's obviously passed out. That's just my idea of the situation.
We shouldn't jump to conclusions.
Hey, man.
I don't remember a thing, so it could have been.
Is that my Mario bag?
Probably.
It's possible.
Kyle's claimed it as his own. No, I don't know.
No, actually, I think I've seen my Mario bag at home. I think we just have the same Mario bag. Anyway, carry on.
I'm not surprised. It's a Bowser bag. I'm pretty sure it's Kyle's.
Good derail. I like that.
What's the matter, Kyle? You look confused.
I wasn't listening.
Good.
Yeah.
Stealing your bag.
There's not much like I remember. Do you guys remember much of your childhood? Because I know a few people who just like don't remember.
Not really.
Don't remember or choose not to remember.
Well, I don't know. Like I feel like there are people who like specifically like just don't remember.
I don't think
that.
that. No, I don't think there's people that don't remember the childhood. There's people who have had childhoods where they just don't want to remember. And
I had a water. I had a water bed that burst.
Did you like? I was about to say, did you drown? But obviously.
That's did you drown? Yes, I'm a ghost.
And he just fades away.
No, I'm not doing that.
Photoshop like a really bad picture of smoke just in front of your head.
But yeah, like it just sprung a leak, and I was like, okay, and then it just suddenly went.
I'm just shocked you had a waterbed. I had to share my room. I had to share a room for the first 16 years of my life with two other blokes. They were my brothers. Older brothers. I'll say it. Other blokes.
You couldn't have worded that any more like, what?
I know, it's weird. It was
How vague you are with your childhood just makes it seem so much worse. Like, yeah, share.
It was pretty bad. I mean, we spent most of our early teen years in the same room together. What do you think what happened in that room? Let's put it this way.
Matt, did you say lots of jacking off?
Yeah.
Matt's not wrong. There was.
So,
like, there's
what happens in that situation? Is it just like, do you just play like?
You just pretend it's not happening.
Man.
Like
Calm
when
blue
you
ocean, calm
when
blue
you have as a teenager you're not completely aware, like, because my parents were real. Not my parents, they're lovely, but they're just not very good parents, and like they didn't really prepare, like, you know, they didn't really prepare you for like your adolescent years. And my mom kind of thought, well, boys don't need their own space, they can share rooms for longer than girls, so my younger sisters always had their own rooms because it was more important for them to have their own room than blokes. So when we got to adolescence,
so they could just jack off as much as they want. They wouldn't know that.
That's not the reason. They were young, but the thing is that we shared a room, and the thing is, me and my brothers have no boundaries. So it's kind of like, I feel like, you know.
Right. Okay, Curtis. When he said at the start of the podcast, we're going down the rabbit hole.
You didn't mean literally.
Don't know how deep you thought the rabbit hole needed to be.
Hey,
I'm
pretty sure we've invented, like, we're out in China somewhere at the moment. We've just
I think the fact that he
tunneled through the earth.
I feel like Kyle wants to get in on this.
Kyle, come here, Kyle. Here you go. It's a perfect topic for Kyle to get in on the action.
Did you? How many? Okay, wait. But can my first question
grab
be?
A chair
how many times have you jacked off in the same room as somebody else?
Exactly 0.
Yeah, I know it's not. I know it's not normal now, but as a kid, you don't know that. You don't.
No. But this shocks me because
what year was it when you were a kid? Because I guarantee that was not part of the culture.
All right,
I was very out of touch with the world.
Yeah, but I mean this in the nicest possible way, Kyle. This shocks me because, you know, he's talking about people not having boundaries. You don't.
Yeah, I don't.
So
I'm
really
destroy his boundaries all the time. So he's a fucking liar.
But I also feel sorry for the fact that, like, my parents weren't great parents. I'm still stuck on that there.
Well, it all started when he was 2.
So
And there was a kitchen with a tumble dryer. There was
My
some
parents-
coins. There was a few pigs oinking in the background.
My family is riddled, including myself. My family is riddled with mental health issues, and a lot of that sort of stuff.
Is
kind
anyone
of,
surprised?
No one should be surprised. But yeah, a lot of stories. The thing is, I'm telling these stories out of context. There's nothing like
But
built
see,
around it.
that's the thing, though. Even when you're going to tell the story, it's like you're almost planting the hook so people stay to hear the rest, because it's like you're giving the bit of the story that has no context, but like, what the fuck? I need to hear the context.
I guarantee the
That's
context.
a bit of a punchline.
I guarantee the context is.
Oh
not
no,
good enough
trust
for
me,
this.
there's enough punching going on. If you know
No, what I'm
talking
saying is,
about.
as a young teenager, my dad was
Back
not.
up.
My
Oh, you come back, alright.
my dad wasn't very. Like, he didn't like. My dad was great when I was a kid. Like, you know, he was very very loving as a dad. Don't get me wrong, both my parents were very loving,
Yeah.
but they weren't very.
Yeah, no, but no,
We're
I'm not trying
to
I'm
abuse
not.
your
You're not.
parents.
You're not.
Like you look
you're not-
genuinely sad. You're like, no,
No,
my
no,
parents are
no,
fine.
no.
Please,
Curtis,
like,
what I was
oh my
saying is,
God.
I know. Look, I know that you've got a wonderful relationship with your parents and everything else, but that's not how you started the story.
I mean, I won't say wonderful, right? I have a decent relationship with my parents.
Keep digging the hole.
My parents were.
You keep looking at the screen, by the way.
I
not
know,
the
it's
camera.
shocking. I look at
Yeah.
you. Hello.
Go back to the screen, please. Go back to
I mean, to be fair,
I'm sorry. I hope to God that they never see it.
Oh, we're,
Yeah.
oh, no, we're sending
Alright,
this
we're moving
I
on
was
from
about to
this.
say,
I'm not
my
talking
favorite
about.
part is that Beazley, ever since like this kind of just started to derail, he was just like, "Oh man, this podcast, like we're bringing it back. We're gonna come back in full thing. It's gonna be so good. We're gonna bring it back. Like it's gonna be so it's gonna be great." And then we start talking about dicks for 40 minutes.
No, it's not been 40 minutes. It's been only 4. I've been watching the time.
Trust me, I've been watching it.
Anyway, move
a
on.
friend of
move
mine
on.
accidentally jizzed in his girlfriend's eye, and then she just started screaming about how she could feel the wriggling.
So what's the next topic?
I don't know. That kind of.
Honestly, I thought
boys.
childhood trauma would get us there.
Back
I
up.
didn't expect us to have to derail out of there that badly.
Hey man, you wanted to bring up traumatic events.
Okay, I did ask for this, but I honestly didn't expect it. That's all I'm saying.
You don't get half.
You're
with
done
me.
now, Carl.
You don't
Go
get. There's no halfway point with me. You either get nothing or all. So.
Apparently, that was the case with the brothers this one. Alright, I'm done.
Good times.
So,
times.
Beazley, is there anything that happened that wasn't that bad that traumatized you?
No.
I think he's been traumatized. In
I was to say they didn't traumatize me.
So about half an hour ago.
No, it's not as bad as the one story I heard from my friend when I was a kid. That was terrible. But I'll tell you for another time.
Is that an off-camera story?
Yes, we'll say because it's not safe for work. I mean, this is kind of like delves into the realm of like not me. It's a friend was a friend of mine, and it's kind of bordering on the realm of child abuse, I guess you could say.
let's
Okay,
not
let's-
touch that one.
Yeah, so that's like like it's not like he didn't see it as child abuse, but like if you look at it from like an adult's perspective and look at it, you'd be like, no, I'm pretty sure
Let's
that's
just
child
leave
abuse.
that one alone.
That's why I said I
I'm
wanted
going
to.
to be the moral compass here for a moment. Let's leave that one alone.
Lean that all
Let's
the way
just
out.
sway into another
Alright,
conversation.
well, let's kind of go back to the start before it got to the finish, where it was a movie. So like Labyrinth was something that fucked me up. Was there any movies that you saw as a child that fucked you up?
Movies?
Like any TV shows, like any characters or anything that just like.
No, because I always
suck-
avoided horror movies. I always avoided.
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be a horror movie.
That's
No.
the thing though. Like Labyrinth wasn't a horror movie, but fucking David Bowie.
No, because I specifically went for movies that never were shocking to me.
That's weird.
I always kind of like went for movies that I knew I was gonna like, kind of. That's why I don't like surprises. I don't like surprises, so I always when I go into a movie.
Surprise! There's a live audience.
So I think that again comes from the whole getting thrown into a room and having those freaking terrifying me. I think it's kind of like also my dad doesn't like surprises either.
Is this a bad
So-
time to mention we've invited your parents over? They've been outside this whole time. Come on in!
Mr. and Mrs. Bellamy, come on down.
Not Mrs. Bellamy anymore.
Divorced. Well, I feel awkward.
And that ends
Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Is anyone surprised after the stories I've told?
No, I was living in hope that everything was fine, Curtis.
It's all right.
I had as a child, like, there's movies that I watched, and nowadays, like, I talk to them, like, about them to people, and like other people haven't seen them, so I don't actually know if they existed or not. Do you get that with anything? Like, have you ever had that with something which you're so sure it exists, and then you talk to everyone like they've never heard of it before?
No. I don't know what he's talking about. Like,
well, like there's a.
I mean,
I have a very vivid imagination.
I don't particularly have a.
Oh, sorry.
I don't particularly have a movie that I have that traumatized me, but my brother, funny enough, Lenny has a movie that traumatized him as a child, which I think to this day he's still scared of.
Okay.
The Muppets movie. He's actually terrified of Muppets.
Is it the googly eyes? I can understand it.
Like he was don't even laugh. Like he's actually traumatized by Muppets.
That's crazy.
Like as a kid, Jeff used to buy Muppet dolls, and then like Lenny would be sleeping, and then he'd throw Muppets at him while he slept. So when he woke up, he'd just have Muppets in his face, and he'd wake up fucking freaking out, punching them in the face.
You're right.
Like Jeff used to like bully Lenny a lot. Like Lenny himself was a bit of a bully growing up, but like Jeff used to bully him a lot. Like he, and Muppets was just one of the things that Lenny was really as a kid was really terrified of. It's kind of similar to his avian phobia. He's scared of birds because as a child he was chased down by a swan who tried to like. Bite him.
Hey, swans are fucking for
No, I know. It's not the bird. I don't know.
What do you expect him to be afraid of? Of all birds, I'm pretty sure a swan's a pretty reasonable one to be afraid of.
It was like 3 at the time, so like the swan was fucking huge.
Yeah, swans are
fucking
big,
swan.
Man. Like swans fucking they're up to there, dude.
That explains. My fear of spiders is a bit like that. I was fine until I had one of those like ones that jump. Yeah, actually land like on my face. Yeah, no.
I've had a couple of pretty traumatizing things with spiders. Like one time we were doing like that geocaching. You guys have heard of geocaching, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Where I was really good at finding them, so I ran. Like my dad was like, "Oh, go get it." Like, I'm sure you'll be able to find it quick enough. I ran out there. Obviously, surely enough, I found it straight away. I picked it up, and then like I was holding it, and then I flipped my hand over, and there was like a giant fucking huntsman on the back of it, and I was like, "Oh."
Well, in my defense, I can deal with them as in, like, if I see one, I don't just run out the room screaming. I usually get Matt because I would just
Maddie, please!
No, I would just squash it, whereas Matt's like, oh, let's put it in a nice cup and I'll take it out. It's like a taxi service and it gets taken outside. That's fine, I understand that, unless it's one that looks like it's going to kill the cats,
That
right?
would be $3, sir.
But in my defense, there was someone else who absolutely freaked the fuck out one time at our old address, where we got home really late and opened the back door, and there was no joke, the huntsman was like the size of like a saucer.
Yeah.
And that person who's sitting in the other room knows it. I've never seen Kyle freak out so much ever. Honest to God, ever. The spider at our old at my house. Remember we got home really late and it was on the door? Yeah. Yeah, do you remember that one? You don't want to remember that one? It was huge. It was like that. Like it was. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. The other time I had it was like years ago when I was like on the computer and I was just like I was just using the computer, like one of those big chunky fucking computers back in the day. I was just like scrolling through, and then like all of a sudden it was just like loading a page, and then a spider just like crawled from the back of the computer just onto the screen, and I was like, and it took me a minute because I didn't even realize. I was like, huh, wait a minute. I just fucking like sprinted out of there like,
I'm good with spiders as long as they stay away from me. Like they can stay in my room, in the corners of my room.
Yeah, but see, spiders are a common phobia. The probably the most.
It's a rational fear because spiders can be dangerous.
Well, this is, and I know who's gonna. This may be an opportunity for him to pop his head in a minute. Is that you shut up over there? Is that my mum has a fear of cats, and
I don't know why.
It's an irrational fear.
But I've literally seen her jump up on my grandmother's dining table because one touched her. Like, she just...
It's an irrational fear.
The only cat that she's not reacted too badly to in recent years is Riku. But in saying that, Riku is bigger than the standard cat. Like, she's not...
Smarter than the
Plus,
average
look, who
cat.
can resist
Well,
Riku?
that's why it's called an irrational fear, because
but
there's a
she's-
difference between rational and irrational. So rational fears stem from actual rational life. For instance, being scared of the dark or being scared of water, like being a hypochondriac.
Yeah.
Hydrophobic. Yeah.
I think you're thinking hypochondriac, and that's someone
Hypochondriac
who's...
and Like, basically, these are all rational fears because being scared of the water...
Aquaphobia is a fear of water.
Aquaphobia, yeah.
What's hydrophobia then?
I'll find out. You guys keep going.
Fire
So
hydrants.
basically, as a rational fear, it stems from rational. It's like being...
No, that's the hydrophobia.
Extreme rational fear. Especially as a symptom of rabies in humans.
What?
Yes, if you get rabies, you get scared of water. I don't know why.
If you get rabies, you're scared of water.
I've heard that before, but I don't know how true that is.
I'm looking into this.
But no, so basically irrational fear, so like stems from like fear in the dark. You're scared of the dark for rational reasons because you don't know what's in the dark. People often get mugged or attacked in the dark. It's a very rational fear. Whereas my brother has avian phobia, which he's scared of birds. That's irrational because the chances of a bird actually attacking you for no reason are very slim. Unless you do something to aggravate that bird, them attacking you is not very common. It's not something they do. And even if they do attack you, it's very rare that they'll actually be able to kill you unless they poke you dead in the eye.
Have you ever come face to face with a deadly fucking penguin? They're fucking vicious fuckers. No,
Penguins are pretty vicious.
Yeah, no.
But like,
But
that's-
when are you in the situation where you're going to be standing face to face with a penguin that can attack?
well, that's
you?
why it's called an irrational. That's why it's called irrational fear, because it's a fear that does not make sense. It's irrational.
I have a fear of Kyle, but that's very rational.
I was gonna say that'd be a rational
Just quickly
fear.
so that we don't get too far away from it. The hydrophobia thing, apparently it refers to aquaphobia, but then also another meaning for it is it used to be a historic name for rabies, and I think Google was just like, all right, let's just fucking
I was going to
splice
say.
these
So
together.
why would you end up with a fear of water if you had been bitten by a rabid Kyle?
Does rabies give you a fear
I
of
feel like I'm
water?
picking on Kyle. I'm sorry, Kyle.
You always pick on Carl.
I do.
Holy shit, maybe it is.
Love you, Kyle.
Now you know what rabies causes fear of water.
What are you looking at?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
said I heard about it before. Like, I didn't
Yeah,
how
you
true it
know
was.
why rabies causes fear of water, hydrophobia? Because when people are affected by the neurological signs of rabies, they experience difficulty swallowing and muscle spasms in the throat when they try to swallow.
Fair enough.
There you go.
Fair enough. Makes sense.
That's fucked. I have not a fear of water, but a fear of drowning. Like I'm very like. I mean, obviously
Yeah, but
That's,
it's like
that's rational. Everyone has a fear of drowning.
No, I love drowning. It's, like,
Drowning's the greatest, man. That's what I used to get off at nights. Back in the room with the free guy.
he just pour a glass of water over his face and he's
he used to waterboard himself. Just so he could get a harbor.
But go on, yes. You were saying.
Mine is like more extreme than like, because obviously everyone's afraid of dying, everyone's afraid of drowning, but like I've nearly drowned like 4 times.
That's not true. No, that's true. Well, I don't know if that's true.
I think everyone's afraid of dying.
No. Some people really no.
Some people aren't.
No. Not everyone's afraid of dying.
I think I should say not everyone wants to die, and
That's-
it's pretty
that's
rational.
true.
Like,
Well, no.
all right, keep going, move away from that.
Suicide is alive and well.
All right.
But suicide is not a
shook.
But suicide is not. But
I know
suicide is not.
Yeah, it's
Suicide is not a lack of fear of dying. It's a fear of living.
Yeah.
It's not that they're not scared of dying.
No,
it's the fact that they're more terrified of living. That's how
there are
that comes
people
about.
who, and it's especially prevalent in. That's a big word for you. Prevalent in older people.
Where
Is
they're
that
like, "Come and take me, death."
I've like a lot of elderly people are like I'm ready to go. Yeah. There's no fear of.
I should say, nobody wants to drown to death.
They might. I don't know.
That's
Don't judge.
if your kink is dying from drowning,
There are people with
email us at the link below.
There are
Or
people
tweet us.
What
I don't
are
know.
we
There are
starting
people
I was
that-
gonna say,
there
we're
are
not-
people
we're not
that, like,
starting
get
an
off to
email
asphyxiation.
account, are we?
Huh?
There are people who get off to asphyxiation, which is like
Oh yeah,
all
100%.
types, all
Like,
types.
but like, I don't think
Drowning
anyone
for them
actually
would be
wants
like-
to drown and die
I don't
as
think
a
they want
sexual
to
thing.
die, but yeah, they will mind drowning.
This way, you can only ever do it once.
It's the only time you ever have a real orgasm.
It's the saying. You've always got to try something once. You're never going to get to try that twice.
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess.
Unless you're revived by some sort of
Miracle.
Miracle.
I don't know. Some hot lifeguard. I don't know.
A miracle or some hot lifeguard.
I'd let
Somewhere
her
in between
choke me to death with water. But yeah, I was just gonna say because I nearly drowned like 4 times as a kid, so like I got really.
What
fucked
were
up
you
with drowning.
doing?
I can't swim.
Oh, okay.
That's right. I forget you can't swim.
Well, that's the thing. That's another thing. Yeah. So that's when I was a kid when they tried teaching me how to swim. So like a lot of times. So there was one time I was at a pool party with one of my friends, and then like I went under because I got nudged into the deep end, couldn't get out. I nearly drowned, but then like I managed to get myself to the side. Other times, but then there was my lessons. So my lessons was I still remember they tried to do that thing where they're like, let's wait. Have I told the story on the podcast before?
No, doesn't ring a bell.
Okay.
Rings a bell to me, but you might have told me off the podcast.
Yeah, I don't
That's
remember it being on a podcast.
What happened is they were like, all right, we've tried everything because like I wasn't learning fast enough. They're like, all right, well, let's pick him up and throw him in the deep end because that's a smart thing to do with kids, right? That's because if anything works, it's survival
I was
instinct.
about to say, it's the
They didn't
do a fly.
They didn't
Like,
factor in the
fly.
fact that this child obviously knew how to beat up a ram, so he was an aggressive boy. So what I did is so they picked me up and they like tried to throw me in, but me being like, fuck this shit, you know how to swim, I don't. You're the lifeguard. So I was like, all right, if I'm going in this water, I'm pulling you in with me. And because I was a pretty big kid, I grabbed her and like pulled her into the water, broke both of her ankles. So I pulled a lifeguard into the water, made her unable to swim because she tried to fucking make me drown.
Oh, I'm just thinking the thought of her trying to paddle her broken ankles.
She did. Obviously, another lifeguard came in and like grabbed her out. But yeah. So that's why you don't fuck with young children. So she tried to just push me into the deep end. I was like, fuck this. I'm not having a bar of that. Grabbed her and pulled her in with me. It was great.
So how do you feel about puddles?
Puddles are fine.
Okay.
As long like it's not my ankles.
What if I push you into the deep?
I didn't break my ankles and her ankles. Every ankle was broke simultaneously. I step into a puddle and then my ankles just fucking collapse on each other.
She pushed you into the deep end of the puddle.
Whoa, it's nearly knee deep.
Jesus.
But yeah, so that's what obviously there's
I feel like we got way too personal in this podcast.
Nah, now you know more about us.
I didn't.
I know.
And I don't plan on
I
it.
Beazley just said they're disappointed in all of us. It's great.
Judgment. Ooh.
The judgment day is upon thee.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. Good times.
Was
there any other topics we were going to talk about?
Honestly, I think we've made enough time.
Yeah, we still have a bit of time because the first 10 minutes was just garble. As in, not the podcast.
Lava, lava, lava,
If you
lava,
want to keep
lava.
talking, you can.
Honestly, I'm still shook.
I mean, out of the torture
Can't care.
as childhood and the masturbation with friends and brothers
Masturbation with friends. There's the title of the podcast.
and mothers teaching me. Yeah, that was just.
Beazley, you need something.
I've got nothing. I led until I met all of you fucking weirdos. I led a very dull and
Fulfilling life.
pathetic life. All right. You've only got to ask the people who've known me for 20
He
years.
can swim. He masturbates by himself. His mum's never told him how to orgasm. Wait, no.
How a fake and real orgasm go. Seriously, that's to this day that freaking terrifies me.
I can swim.
I figured you could. I was just assuming.
My brother can't, but I can.
So even that's a
Take
police
that.
officer?
What's that?
Isn't that the one that's a police officer?
Sure. Yeah. What do you mean that's the...
about to
well,
say,
I
yeah,
suppose you don't... Yeah, I've got a brother and I've got a sister. That's it.
To say as a police officer that he should be able to swim because
He could okay, well, without going into the nitty gritties of all that, he can swim enough that he'd be able to save himself. He's just not a strong swimmer.
okay, so he can swim, but it's
Whereas
just
I can swim properly.
You don't need to be able to swim to save yourself. You only just need to.
No, just drown, you'll be
fine.
And he parts the swimming pool. And you just walk out.
I can swim, but it took me a while before I could put my head under the water. Like I had to always swim with my head above water.
Right.
That's kind of like my brother, he doesn't like having water on his face. He doesn't like put under there, but that's just sensory issues. So.
Yeah, of course. But then obviously when I was that only was like for my early childhood. Later childhood, I was okay with putting my head in the water. Now I find it hard to swim my head above the water because I like being under the water so much.
I do not. That's actually a thing which, going back to the drowning thing. That's one thing. No, it's just one thing which still like to this day like. Obviously, I don't go out of my way to like go in bodies of water, but like even in movies and stuff like that, if there are like those movies where you see people like underwater and they're like actually struggling to breathe and stuff like that, I get really like anxious.
Yeah, but I think that's also something. But that's part of that's the effectiveness of those movies.
I
was going to say, even if you're not,
but like even from just a regular point of view.
I mean, how the fuck do you get through watching Finding Nemo?
Oh, trust me, I had to watch it in 5 minutes.
Just keep swimming.
Just keep swimming.
I'm trying.
No, it's like I understand that. It's like me when I like see characters go into dark rooms. To this day, it freaks me out.
Yeah, exactly.
Watching movies like Saw and shit like that.
Saw. Oh yeah, no, I can't handle that.
Saw is a Saw I can watch it, but like every time it took me a long time to be able to watch films where they go into dark rooms and not leave the room.
Yeah, but what it's like.
But even to this day, it's like you've seen me with horror games when it goes dark and I look away from the screen because I just can't handle being in the dark.
See, for me, film, I can for the most part handle it. Video games, no, and I think it's because you're in control.
I'm the complete opposite though. That's why I've always.
I mean, you've only got to watch any of the Resident Evil stuff. But even with Curtis, the perfect example what you were talking about before was Outlast Part 1.
Yeah.
When we go into
dark,
you go into that hysterical laughter like Kyle did as well, and it was the body hanging in the door
because it was dark in the room, and all I could see was the shadow. And I was like, "No, don't go in."
That's why there's certain games. I don't mind playing horror games for our channel, and that there's certain games I just won't because I can't do it. Emily Wants to Play is one of them. I could not do that game, and I don't know how anyone can play that in VR either. Like
that's the thing. Like so like going back to what you're saying. Like I am the complete opposite of that. Like I cannot handle watching like. Even watching somebody else control somebody is like I just can't do it. Like, if I'm playing a horror game, like you've even seen it in Resident Evil, like I handle way better.
Yeah,
but
it's saying
like, okay, I know where I'm going. If I want to run away, I can run away.
Yeah, but in saying that, hey, try playing Outlast with half a controller each.
Yeah,
me and Kempy did that. Holy shit, that was the most freakiest shit I've ever done. And I'm going run, and he's going, you're in control. I'm like, oh shit. But no, I make it harder on people who watch me play horror games too.
Watching you play anything.
Because I just turn, like, why are you turning like that? I'm just like, no.
I'd say horror games I can do as long as I've got a way to defend myself. The moment, but it's like working into that though. Like that's why I always struggle with like Resident Evil. Like,
so you didn't watch in far enough to us playing.
Get
later
all
on,
your guns, yeah.
Although that's not necessarily true because then later in the game they take everything away from you.
I was gonna say I think that game like now we're just derailing into Resident Evil.
Sorry,
but that did that well in a way where it was like, okay, here you go, here's your weapons and stuff like that, and then they're like, but. Even though you feel more powerful against things, it's like you can defend yourself. Like things are still going.
That game is a master of jump scares. Even so far into the game, I think it was our final part that we recorded. I just freaked the fuck out because it'd been so long of like, oh, monster comes out, shoot it. This one just fell from the ceiling the moment you opened a door. Like it just freaked the fuck out of me. Yeah, no, that game was, and halfway through the game, you're getting so comfortable having a gun and doing it, and then they just take everything away from you and put you in the creepiest location possible, and it's like your brain has to go, I can't do what I've been doing. I can't just go in there. I've got nothing to defend myself. You're literally running around the ship. Spoilers for anyone who hasn't played it at this point. And it's like, what the fuck? There's enemies. You can't do anything about it for a good period of time. They're like 10 times as strong as they were at the start of the game. It's like, that game's a master of just completely...
I was going to say, I don't think... Like, when it comes to anything scary, I think jump scares aren't what makes a game scary for me. Like, because I think jump scares personally, like, jump scares is just a cheap ploy. Like, obviously they're effective.
Yeah.
Like, I don't deny that at all. But if a film or a game or anything just consists of jump scares, I don't want to watch it. Like, it's just pointless. Like,
no.
when you've got something like that's why when I think about movies and it's like thrillers and horrors and like things like that, because like horror movies usually rely on just gore or jump scares, and like gore is gore. Some people hate it, some people don't. It's just
And there's Al Gore, which is also very horrifying.
Oh my goodness! Don't even talk to me about the election. But yeah, so that's the thing. And then so then the other thing is jump scares. Whereas it's like with thrillers, like obviously they do use jump scares and stuff, but I feel like a lot of things like in that retrospect are they're handled in a different way, where it's like, okay, this is scary because of like the anticipation leading up to this moment, other than just being like, okay, here's this spooky moment.
Yeah, but
go back to just loud violin
that's
music playing
where
as somebody walks into a room.
That's where movies like Silence of the Lambs, even though they qualify that, it's horror. It's not. It's genuinely
that's just quality, like, and that's
it's
just
atmospherically scary because it's not necessarily. You know, because I wouldn't say there's jump scares in that, but it's the fear of the unknown with him.
Yeah, 100%.
You know,
like,
it's the absolute like what is he going to do? Like he's obviously got well, we're going on to movies very quick. We're going back to Anthony Hopkins. He's got this ability to. We know that he has this infatuation with Clarice, but how far before he snaps and kills her anyway? Like, how close can she get? And that's that weird... But he's in control the whole time.
Yeah.
And that's the scary part.
Yeah.
Is that even when they think they've got him out, he's in complete control.
Yeah.
And that's cinematic genius, that is. That's
exactly. And that's like it is. So that's what I mean. Like, when a movie, game, anything like that kind of media just relies on jump scares, it just completely takes away.
Yeah.
Like, it needs... I think that's a structure which is like it's slowly coming back, especially to video games, like old school Resident Evil now, like all like the 2 through 4 I'll use it didn't rely on that kind of jump scare thing. Like they relied on that kind of the whole.
It's a build up to a result.
Like, not even build up. It's just like that ambience that you've got in those games, and that like that's slowly coming back to atmosphere. That's the word. That's what they're trying to come back to with video games and with movies, especially like with new stuff like I haven't seen it yet, but Hereditary and a bunch of other stuff like that. They're not just relying on like, okay, this is just here you go. This will be the same like plot. Somebody will go into this room, they'll get spooked, they'll run away, they'll get spooked again, blah blah blah. Instead, they're going back to like, okay, this is actual like we're fully invested in the story and everything, and then there will just be horror elements or there will just be thriller elements inside this, which I think is important. So.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I could talk at length about movies and that kind of stuff and how. Yeah, but we'll save that.
But instead, we wasted 40 minutes talking about.
Yes,
that was not my fault. You guys kept saying, "Oh, go on, tell me more. Tell me more."
Okay, I will admit I was guilty, but it was hilarious.
All right, let's wrap up a bit. So yeah, the pod. Am I confident enough to? Yeah, no, we'll say that because I think we discussed that.
We're confident enough to do whatever we like.
Okay, fair enough. So the podcast will be back at this point fortnightly, every 2 weeks. Excitement. And I'm looking at the camera.
I'm not. I'm looking at the TV because I'm so damn hot.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I was looking at the TV because you were so damn hot.
Rather than go...
Oh my God, man!
If you want to follow any of us on Twitter, all the links will be in the description below.
Zelda's might be there too.
Who?
Zelda's might be there too.
God, you disgust me. And so we're going to be putting out, at this point, hopefully 2 videos a week, including like the podcast on the week that the podcast is due to come out. So, yeah.
Until then,
yeah,
we'll see you soon. We're going to have some consistent videos. We've got some good stuff coming your way. Keep your eyes peeled.
Cheap plug as well for me and Entertaining Diversion because that's got a Twitch channel now. Once the internet goes back on, I'll be back Twitch streaming, which is to help promote our YouTube stuff as well. So these guys are all on that as well. So you can follow me on Twitch if you want.
We're occasionally there telling people that we'll beat up their dads. It's a good time.
Or easy way is if you follow the Entertaining Diversion Twitch channel, if any one of us is streaming at any time, because that may be a thing up the track, it auto hosts all that, so you can check that out as well. So yeah, and yeah, cool. All right, well, thank you for tuning in. Sorry for Curtis's.
If you last,
I'm sorry, I share way too much information. I've got to stop that habit.
And
if you did like what he was talking about, though, please feel free to leave a comment.
Comment, like, subscribe,
Subscribe.
and
to our
we
blog.
will see you next time.
See you soon.
Soon.
Q.